Hey everybody! On today's episode of With or Without Whiskey, we will be drinking Elijah Craig Small Batch. Stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of With or Without Whiskey. As always, I'm your host Ryan, and today we will be drinking Elijah Craig Small Batch. So, just like always, I'm going to start with a brief introduction where I give you some interesting facts about the whiskey itself, the distillery it comes from, and anything else I may have found during my research. Then we get into the review aspect of the episode where I give you my nosing and my tasting notes. Then I'll give it a grade from 1 to 100 and let you guys know if I'm going to be with it or without it. And before we get started, do me a favor guys, show your support for the channel by hitting the subscribe button down here. Not only does it show support for the channel, but it helps other people find us and enjoy the videos as well. This whiskey is named after an old distiller and father of bourbon, Elijah Craig. Elijah Craig was a Baptist preacher, an educator, and an entrepreneur. He built the first paper and wool mills in Georgetown, Kentucky. The reason he is known as the father of bourbon is because in 1789, when he opened up his distillery, he was allegedly the first distiller to age whiskey in new charred oak barrels. This was a monumental innovation to whiskey aging, and ever since 1938, all bourbon must be aged in a brand new charred oak container. The reason he did this is varied, with some stories saying it was an accidental fire, while some say he charred the inside of old fish barrels to clean them and remove the fish flavor. Elijah Craig Small Batch is 94 proof or 47% ABV and is aged about 4 to 6 years. It is produced by Heaven Hill and has a mash bill of 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% barley. It uses a level 3 char and has a barrel entry proof of 125. All right, let's get started. I think the Elijah Craig bottle is the perfect bottle for pouring. It's got basically a hand-shaped side. It's got a little ring around the top, so it's virtually impossible to spill this when you're pouring. All right, well, let's take a look at the color. As you can see, it's decently dark. It's got a nice like amber tint to it. It's a little bit brown. Seeing as it's like 4 to 6 years, it's gonna have a decent color to it. All right, let's get into the nose. All right, so the first thing you're getting on the nose is definitely caramel, some vanilla, and you get a little bit of honey as well. There's a little bit of cherry notes in there, and you get a good amount of oak on the nose. You get a slight little rye punch and kind of like a maple syrupy kind of scent. It kind of smells like fresh peaches and has a little bit of a berry note in there. Maybe like blackberries. There's a little bit of like a black pepper kind of spice to it, but that's kind of a little bit in the back. All right, let's give it a taste. Cheers, guys. Okay, you're definitely getting a good rye punch on the taste, and it's mixing with like the caramel and vanilla notes in here. It's a lot more rich than the nose would lead you to believe. Like, it kind of tastes like rich, thick syrup, and it's got a good creamy texture to it. It's got a little bit of citrus, like maybe a little bit of orange, but right after like that spicy, that caramel, that vanilla note, you get almost like toasted nuts. Like if you put like some almonds in a frying pan and just lightly toast them, you kind of get like that flavor. The finish is relatively short. It's not the shortest I've ever had, but I don't think it quite makes it to medium. You're definitely getting black pepper on it. You're getting some toffee notes on there, and you're tasting like charred wood. Like you definitely get a nice char taste from it. Like imagine the outside part of a marshmallow. That's kind of what I'm getting off of this. All right, let's see what happens when we add some water to it. One, two. All right, swirl it around a little bit. Okay, on the nose, the spicy kind of black pepper notes are gone, and I'm getting more of that oak and vanilla. There's some caramel in there as well, but that peach note, the honey, the blackberry, I'm not really picking those up anymore. And it's mostly oak with some vanilla like following up. Let's see what it did to the taste. Okay, it gave it a little bit more of a creamy texture. Like it tastes kind of buttery. And instead of like the caramel vanilla, I'm getting more of the brown sugar notes. Like it got a little bit more sweet in that aspect. And there's a little bit of oak, but it kind of tastes like a sweeter oak. Let's try it again. Yeah, those cherry notes are gone. I'm getting a lot of buttery notes, some brown sugar. I still get those toasted nuts at the end, but it's not as defined. It's more like kind of in the background, not really punching through, but you can see it if you look for it a little bit. All right, stick around for the grade. Elijah Craig Small Batch. What do I think? So, on the nose, it really wasn't too complex. You get the standard bourbon flavors. You get caramel, vanilla, honey, oak. There was a little bit of black pepper in there and a little bit of fruitiness like peaches and blackberries. Nothing too crazy. The taste was about the same. Again, standard bourbon, caramel, vanilla. You got a little bit of citrus, some of that creamy, thick syrup. And the toasted nuts, the little nutty aspect of this was pretty good. I tend to find that in Heaven Hill products, but not always. So it's definitely a nice note in there. The finish was, again, not too crazy. You got the black pepper, you got the toffee notes in there, but the char was really the best part of this. It was like that outside marshmallow kind of taste combined with the oak flavor. So it tasted like you were basically licking the spent wood from your campfire. When you added the water to it, it kind of dulled down the scent. It was still oaky. It had a little bit of vanilla, but none of the fruitiness. The honey aspect was pretty much gone. The taste was good. It gave me more of a brown sugar kind of flavor, along with like a buttery kind of consistency. But other than that, it really wasn't too crazy. So, For Elijah Craig small batch, I think I'm going to give it a 73 out of 100. This is probably the stereotypical bourbon. If you have a friend who's never tried bourbon before, I'd give them this just to kind of show them what all of those base notes are. Basically, everything you taste in here is going to be in majority of bourbons. That's not a bad thing. All those notes are really good. I just wish it had some complexity. It's very, very simple. So for Elijah Craig small batch, I'm going to go with it. Like I said, it's not the craziest thing in the world, but it's good. This is the bourbon that you can serve your friends. If you have a big party, like 5-10 people are coming over, and everybody wants to drink your whiskey, give them Elijah Craig. It's super cheap. It's probably about like $25-$30 for a regular size bottle, and it's a good mixer. You could throw this in with some soda, you can make an old fashioned with it, and it's gonna hold up just fine. So this is the perfect always keep around the house bourbon, in my opinion. All right, well, that does it for today's episode of With or Without Whiskey. If you enjoyed the show and you had a good time, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button down below. Also, give me a like and hit the bell notification. That way you stay informed every time I drop a new video. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know. Are you a big Elijah Craig fan, or do you think it's a little too simple? Do you keep it in your bar all the time, or do you opt for something a little bit different? I like to hear what you guys have to say. Until next time, stay safe, guys. Take care.